She was one of the first wives of a Prime Minister with a public profile. She was very much a woman in her own right, and really like a breath of fresh air when she and Gough hit Canberra. She never lost her zest for living, even in her older years. She was witty, she was well informed, she was interested in everything and anybody, and you'd go to an art gallery and there she was, and often there was Gough. You'd go to a concert or the theatre and there they were. She just didn't stay in the lodge and welcome you to it. I mean, she went out and dragged you in there, more or less. I mean, she by being independent, by seeking an outlet for some of her talents, and by just having an opinion. She wasn't Mrs. Gough Whitlam, which was how most married women were those days. She was Margaret Whitlam, and don't ever forget it.
She's been always a very loving and dignified person. I had to deal with them when I was minister in the Hawke government, and Gough was ambassador to UNESCO. I dealt with them in Paris and other places, but I know she's. I can't say anything more than what I said. She's really a very gracious lady, and we love her very, very much, and we'll miss her. And she's made a real impact on people of goodwill in Australia.
What was remarkable is that every single person in Australia, of course, knew Margaret Whitlam. How could you miss her? Even through her height and her bearing, how could you miss her, let alone her stature in Australian politics? But the one remarkable thing is that she didn't miss you. She knew you. So every time I would meet with Margaret, her first inquiry would be to say, how's your husband, Brendan, and how are the children? Now, that is, remarkable. It speaks of a couple of things to me. It speaks of a prodigious memory, but B, a great kindness and a great thoughtfulness in a person, and as Susan says, immediately disarmed you and made you feel welcome. I think she was very, very aware of the imposing figure that she presented. She was a real icon for women probably in their 50s, like me, someone to be very much admired.
Any political spouse plays a very important role. That role is, of course, so much more important when you are the spouse of the Prime Minister, and Mrs. Whitlam clearly played a very important part and role in our nation's history, and I think all Australians, irrespective of their political affiliation, will mourn the loss of Mrs. Whitlam and would want to send their sympathies to Gough and the children.
What do you think Margaret Whitlam's contributions were outside of her role as the former Prime Minister's wife?
Margaret Whitlam was very much an individual in her own right. She, of course, had a career early on in life as an excellent swimmer, but she then went on to involve herself in a whole lot of causes, both before, while she was the Prime Minister's wife, and then afterwards as well. So hers has been a life of contributing to our nation's well-being, and I think most people will salute her for that.
I always felt with Margaret you were in the presence of a very substantial individual. She was very ambitious for her sex, and I think the reason so many Australian women will be remembering Margaret today is because she was one of the first of the Prime Minister's wives who took the whole issue of equality for women onto the international stage. You think back to the 70s, 1975 was International Women's Year, and Margaret was there along with a lot of other Australian officials and international figures at big conferences internationally, spreading the word and about the importance of equal rights for women.
She said, I have to be my own person. I'm not just going to be, like she said, some ageing princess locked up in a tower, in Canberra, doing nothing, saying nothing. And and I think that's really why everybody respected her, because she encouraged all women to be like that.